Okay, hello and welcome. I'm Jason Gumpert from msdynamicsworld.com, and I'm Jason Gumpert from msdynamicsworld.com, and we are here for a new session on what it means to deliver a multi-channel experience with Dynamics AX. And today I'm happy to welcome a new speaker for us. She is Julia Fitzsimmons, a senior industry consultant at Columbus. So as we get started today, please know that you can use the Q&A block or the chat that you'll see on the right side of the webcast session here to ask your questions and offer your feedback, and we'll be saving time at the end for that. So without further delay, Julia, let me hand it off to you.
Thank
Julia,
you.
Are you there?
Yes,
All right.
I believe I'm here. Thank you. All right. Well, thanks everyone, and welcome to Columbus's presentation of delivering a multi-channel experience with Microsoft Dynamics AX. And as Jason said, my name is Julia Fitzsimmons. I'm a senior industry solution consultant and architect with Columbus. And I prepared about 30 minutes of content, and so hopefully we'll have about 15 minutes for questions at the end. And as Jason said, just please type those and we'll catch all those questions at the end. So why are we all so concerned about multi-channel commerce? Well, because the average customer service center has over 6 ways they touch their customer. The web, phone, email, mobile, social media, mailings. So today's goal is to show you how AX will help you better serve your customers and your growing channels. We'll discuss some of the most important considerations when enabling a multi-channel environment and what things to look for when you're choosing a solution. So the channels that we're really addressing are in the columns in this slide. So you've got your online, your catalog and telemarketers, dealers and wholesale, and then your field reps. And as we look at some of the tools for managing these channels, we see those in rows. So we've got, of course, customer service, order entry and order management, and merchandising. So we'll be looking at a cross-section of all of these. As we get started, some of the benefits of an integrated channel that I'll show you today is really one of the big benefits is essentially managed content. So all your items and images are in one place regardless of whether you're pushing this to a mobile device or to a web store. In addition to that, now you want all of your orders centrally managed. So regardless of what channel those orders come in, we need one place to do flexible fulfillment. And as we look at our web store, you'll want to consider supporting both a B2B and a B2C environment, and you'll want to make sure that this web store is built on a proven, responsive e-commerce platform. And as we talk about a mobile solution, one of the big things is that it's very easy to use, requires no training, and it supports an offline and online solution set. So let's look at our agenda. So I'm going to start off talking about online ordering via web store. We'll also look at some of the call center and so the tools that you'll use when you're taking orders as a cataloger or a telemarketer, and then also some of the mobile, so your reps out in the field, some of the mobile devices and experiences for them. And then I'd like to take you behind the scenes a little bit and discuss how you can provide customer service for all of these different orders and all of these different customers from these channels. And then finally, managing reservations and allocations of inventory across these channels. So let's discuss some important web store features. So what do you want to look for in a web store? Well, I think the first thing you want to look for is not only is it feature-rich itself, but that it's managed in AX. So you're not duplicating your merchandising efforts with content in multiple databases. You'll want it to be easy to deploy and maintain, and you'll also want to support your consumer and your business e-commerce channels. So an example of some of the content that can easily be managed in AX is the item content itself. So departments and categories, the manufacturer of the products, also the product data and images, pricing, all of your trade agreements in AX and any customer discounts that you've configured, all the orders, sales orders and shipping and payment processing, all of that should be managed in AX and pushed to your web store, as well as your customers. Customer creation, whether it happens on the web store or in AX, should be seamlessly synchronized between the two. Order history should be available in both platforms, as well as invoices and the ability to generate statements. Also, some of the background data that AX supports that should be pushed to the website are things like your tax rates and shipping charges. So those are just a few of the things when it comes to content that should be managed in AX in your web store solution. And when we talk about, once you've configured your web store in AX, so in other words, you've created your categories, you've selected the items and mapped those items to each of your categories, you've attached images for web display, you'll then want an easy tool to sync that information to your web store. So within AX, you should configure the web stores, map these items, and then sync them. You'll also want to be sure when you are talking about your e-commerce solution that you look for a responsive web design in this platform, one that automatically forms to the device without any extra code. So here in my example, no matter what device I use to pull up the web store, whether it be on my PC, a tablet, or a phone, that it's seamless to the end user, and it's also doesn't require any code on your part to configure an e-commerce platform for that. So that's called a responsive design. In addition, you also want to be able to support multiple web stores. So perhaps you have your own site, your own company site, maybe an overstock site, or when you set up your B2C site, you have customer-specific stores. So you want multiple stores, multiple devices, all of that deriving from within AX. We talk about what kind of platform that this should be built on, and there's many viable e-commerce platforms out there. Magento, Volusion, ASP.NET Storefront. It's important to pick one of these that's proven, that's also extensible, that has many add-ons that you can use to make your web store even more feature-rich. Also, these platforms, many of them are openware and very affordable. And I want to make a point to mention the B2B marketplace. I feel like this is kind of a deprived market, and I feel it's one that needs an easily deployed solution for your wholesale customers to place their orders. This market space is $6 billion in the U.S. It's twice the size of our B2C, yet everyone focuses on that B2C experience. And we hesitate to provide an easy-to-use web store for the wholesale customers. So as you consider your e-commerce platform and solution set, make sure you're including the needs of your B2B customers as well. So some of the benefits, regardless of whether you're deploying a web store for your B2B or B2C, is that everything will be managed in AX. You'll have a sync engine and web services. It should be easy to deploy and easy to manage. When you consider supporting your B2C customers, you want to consider things like search engine optimizations, being able to easily search and refine what's being searched for in the order, comparison fees and payment gateways. For your B2B market, you'll want your trade agreement pricing supported and, of course, on-account features so that you can bill them at the end of the month. Multiple user accounts are also important. So for your customer set, multiple users being able to sign in under one customer account number. Your web store should support multiple stores and multiple sites. It should be built on a mature, proven e-commerce platform. And of course, don't forget the responsive design so that no extra coding is required in order to facilitate any device or form factor that the user might use to pull up that website. And it's always good to have a platform that's open and flexible that you can easily customize and configure to meet your own needs. So now let's shift gears and talk about the call center a little bit. So this is a place for phone and telemarketing orders. And some of the things to look for is, of course, you'll want an easy-to-use order entry form, but behind that, you'll also want to support brands, key codes, and sophisticated searching capabilities. This is an example of our call center order entry form, and let's review some of its features. So you'll see here in the header, we support multiple and different go-to brands. These brands can be mapped to a website or direct marketing independent of any legal entities. Also, some of the searching that we've spoken about, so whether you search by a customer, portions of that customer mastered record, such as a phone number, an email, or an address, or searching for an existing order. You'll want flexible searching and filtering capabilities on your order entry form so that it's easy to find an existing customer or create a new one. You'll also see some messaging over here. And so this can be some call scripts that you can set up by item or brand. Maybe it's mapped to a key code or promotion. Additionally, it's nice to have an item preview. So very helpful for your customer service reps to see the items that's being ordered. You'll also notice some total information. So it's nice to have the order totals, any discounts, what that total balance is of that order displayed for that sales order rep. If we look here in the middle, we've got some other information. So here's where we have our channel. So we can analyze this order, whether it came in by phone or email, or whether we're pulling this order up, one that came in from a web store or from our mobile solution. You'll also notice you'll want to support a key code. So key codes, typically that's the number, the back of a number on a catalog. It can be on any type of media, but they're used to track marketing responses, to relate marketing activities to that sales order demand, set up a number of different behaviors in your sales order form, such as pricing, what promotions are applicable, also mapped to a brand. Typically, key codes are linked to lists of items. And these items could even be automatically loaded into the order based on the key code selected, or you can use it to restrict items that are sold against a particular key code. You'll also note that you'll want to have some margin information, margin totals, and available promise easily visible on your order. If we look across the top here, there's some other things that to consider on your call center order entry form. One of these is the concept of profile fields. And so these are fields that allow you to have data that's not normally accommodated by AX. These things can be set up to store customer or item information. For example, they can be linked to a specific item, a sales order line, or a customer or customer group. You can use these to capture different things such as maybe demographic information of the person on the phone you're taking the order from. Maybe it's you're selling an installation service, it's some service specifics, or some special information about an item. So these can be enterable or displayed for each of those items, customers, and groups. Also, if you look here at the line level, a couple things that's important for a call center order entry form is traffic lights. So easily, at a glance, you should be able to see the on-hand status of any line. So in this example, green is on hand, and so it's been promised. We have orange, which requires an incoming purchase order to fill. You could also have a red traffic light that says it's not available, and maybe a blue traffic light for your direct delivery or your drop ship type orders. So this gives you an example of some of the features to look for when you look at a call center order entry form. Basically, it's very easy to use. It's not cluttered, doesn't require a lot of training, and a lot of information is pushed right directly to our call center reps. An additional feature that allows for complex item search within the call center order entry form is a call out to the web store. And this is important because by using the rich web store search and query capabilities right from within the order entry form. So here you can see at a line on the order entry form, we can select the product browser and you'll get a call out to the web store where you can conduct your complex item search. A good example of this is an aftermarket auto products, which require year, make, and model to determine the correct product that needs to be sold. Once that's selected, you can simply pull that item back into your order entry form by coming down here and clicking Submit to Order Entry. So this gives you the capabilities to use some of the easy-to-configure web store searching of content directly from within your call center order entry form. So some of the benefits of having a rich call center is a call center should provide upsell and cross-sale and substitutions, also call scripts and images by item, easily viewable. It's also important that the customer rep, order entry rep, be able to see margins and on-hand positions. Make it easy to search for customers and items so they don't have to know the customer number or the item number, but they can search by any piece of data within that customer master or item master. So it's very common within customer master to search by an email, for example, or a phone number. Also, it's nice to have some user-definable fields to capture any kind of custom requirement, my example with demographic data. And when you're dealing with call center, it's often a cataloging environment, so it's important that you be able to manage key codes and brands and be able to map all of those to those different channels. So let's look a little bit about our mobile sales and some of the options to consider when you're talking about providing your field sales reps with mobile devices. So what do you want to look for in mobile sales? Well, a tool that requires no training and supports your field reps across all and any of their devices. So it needs to be device independent and, of course, very easy to use. There are several configurations for mobile sales. One of them is an HTML5 based solution. The solution should support both online and offline sales. Within the solution, your sales rep should be able to create new customers and new sales orders. When creating those sales orders, they should have access to any credit check capabilities. Also being able to create quote orders and return orders from the mobile device, to inquire on customers or create a new customer. It's also nice to be able to capture signatures. So the signature of your customer, maybe print an order or an invoice out right there at the customer site as well. And it's important that this solution work across any device. So whether it be an iPad or an iPhone or an Android or a Windows phone, it should work seamlessly across those devices as well as be browser independent. So HTML5 is a great solution for this because it does provide device independence and browser independence as well. Another option for mobile order entry is using an iPad or iPhone app. These are very popular. They're, configured a little bit differently. They should, of course, have all the relevant functional capabilities that the HTML5 solution did, being able to view and search for customers, create new orders, look up customers and items and place orders. But some of the other benefits of an app is often you can have some shopping cart content and integration with maps, and some of those types of tools as well can be built in. Again, the emphasis is on a simple order entry form, one that requires no training, very easy for your field reps to use, so they will embrace that. And if we talk about the configuration of your mobile solution, some of the things to consider is that it should also be configured and reside within AX. So just like the web store, the item master needs to reside within AX, as well as any images that you choose to publish on your mobile devices, all your pricing information. Also, it needs to be easily extensible, so built on a platform that you can easily change and modify, extend, and add your own content to that. And don't forget the responsive design. So just like our web store, we wanted the responsive design on our mobile device, so it doesn't matter which type of mobile device we use, that this easily responds and fits to that mobile device without any further configuration from your side. And of course, options for offline and online, so that when your rep is in a place where he or she can't get Wi-Fi or cell service, that they can go ahead and take those orders and then sync those up later. So some of the benefits to having your Salesforce mobile while complying to the order rules of AX. So it's one thing to have a mobile solution, but if it doesn't comply to what you set up in AX, or it's not aware of your credit limits of a particular customer or what items that you've configured, then that solution will not be as useful for you as one that's fully configured and integrated with AX. So also, your mobile solution should be easy to configure and add new logic. Should be able to handle other types of orders besides sales orders, such as quotes and returns. You should be able to allow your reps to create prospects and customers and do printing, be able to view prices and even on-hand data. Also consider being able to have automatic syncing of new orders or batch syncing when in an offline mode. So let's talk about some customer service. So we've looked at 3 ways for entering orders, one from the web store. We've looked at our call center or phone type order entry, and also mobile order entry. Let's take a minute and talk about customer service, because it's important to be able to provide seamless customer service to all of your channels. So how can you best provide that? Well, the easiest way would be a workbench that lets you inquire as well as act on any of those orders. So regardless of how the order got into AX, you'll want to be able to manage that order in one place. So here's an example of our customer service workbench. And you'll notice here we can filter by brand, so we can see all the orders for our particular brand. We also have customer filtering capability, again, determine which fields within the customer master to search on. And once you've determined the customer that we're looking for, here in the middle, we see all of our orders that relate to that particular customer. Some of the things about that order we can see is the status of the order. So you've got your statuses, contact information, you've got your channel, so the order came in from phone or web or mailed or emailed. Also, for this particular customer, we can see some of our information from a marketing standpoint, so our RFM score, which is recency, frequency, and monetary. So it gives us an idea of the kind of the value of this particular customer. When's the last time they've ordered from us? How often are they ordering from us? How much money are they typically spending with us? It's also nice from a customer service workbench to be able to perhaps create a new order or a return order or a quote. So here we've got some capabilities to do some of that. So when you do returns, you'll want to be able to have multiple return processes, a 1-step or a 2-step return processing. Also, some of the things you can do from customer service support is deduplication. So it's important to have some dedupe functionality to help you manage your prospect records, to dedupe your prospects versus customers, or maybe a new customer versus a pre-existing customer. One way to go about this is to set up a configurable match code technique, which allows you to determine which fields you want to do a match on and then rate those for duplications. Also, customer communication. So you'll see here some of the contacts of our customers sending out customer emails. So automated outbound emails and customer letters, letting them know that their order's been received or shipped or even back ordered. So if we look at some of the benefits of customer service for all of our channels, is being able to find and manage all the orders from every channel in one workbench. Maybe we want to add a new customer at this point in this workbench, but we certainly want to inquire on our orders, create a case against a particular customer, so this is a good opportunity to do that, or put one of these orders on hold with user-defined hold reasons. Perhaps we need to create a return. Always tracking order and ship status. That's the #1 question asked when anyone calls in is, where's my order? When was it shipped? When will it be here? Of course, calculating your RFM scores and settling any type of payment that might need to be done. So whether we're dealing with a consumer or a business, if it's a credit card, posting credit card payments through a payment gateway, or settling an on account and creating a statement or an invoice. It's also good to be able to view any of those automated emails that were sent, and also to add notes and attachments. So just like we do in other places within AX, we'd like to be able to have the capability to add multiple attachments. So let's talk a little bit about order management. In fact, I'll wrap up with this particular topic. So within order management, you'll really need a tool to help you basically rob Peter to pay Paul. So you'll want to deallocate stock from one customer and give it to another. You'll also want to see and manage your back orders, your stock positions, maybe do an item substitution or add an item to an order. So this is an example of our order management form. And some of the things you'll see that we can do is we can use the select criteria to pull up different orders. Once we have those orders, we can mark those orders along the left-hand side, and then we can manually allocate and deallocate stock from one order and allocate it to another order. Now, of course, we have automated allocation rules, but often in these types of environments, there's a need to manually allocate and deallocate or reallocate that stock. Another thing that you might want to do is manually do a substitution, or you might would like to cancel order lines on a certain order. Of course, you'll want automated communication with that cancellation and any payment refund if appropriate. Additionally, you might want to add an item to an order. An example of this might be, a catalog or any type of promotional item. Also, if we look at allocating back orders, now, while typically back orders are allocated with a batch process once the new stock's been received upon item arrival, you might also manually want to come in here and allocate inventory to those back order items as well. Now, you'll also notice that you'll want to be able to track some priority and reallocate inventory to those orders by the priority of those orders as well. And just also wanted to point out that we want to also have this traffic light features. Again, your green shows us everything on hand. Orange requires an incoming purchase order to fill. Red would not be available, blue direct delivery. So as you glance very quickly, you can easily see at a glance your inventory position of each of those lines on that order. Some other things when managing orders that you'll want to take into account, if we look here at in the middle, all of your quantity information, so how much is on order, what's been reserved or promised, available to promise. So that's an example of an order management form and some of the information that can offer you to help you manage some of those orders within your channel. So some benefits of having an order management workbench is that it lets you see all of the orders across your channels and fulfill these. By deallocating or reallocating stock based on customer priority, or perhaps using substitutions. Also, you can generate low stock warnings or back order notices and then easily see your on-hand and promised quantities. Also important to remember when you're managing orders is to also your customer deduplication as well. So just as a wrap up, I hope you've seen in the last 30 minutes how we can help you streamline your many channels and some of the important functions to keep in mind as you enable these channels. Most importantly, centrally managed content. So this suggests that AX is the source and publishes to the web store or mobile devices of all of your items, images, pricing, even such contents as banner pages on your web store, for example. Also, you'll want to make sure that all of your orders come into one place for central review and fulfillment so that you can allocate and deallocate, reallocate inventory across those orders regardless of the channel it comes in. And of course, don't forget about your B2B channel. You want to make sure that you consider them when you're selecting an e-commerce platform. And of course, for your field reps, a tool that's easy for them to use, requires no training so that they easily adopt that. And allows them to take orders both offline and online. So I want to thank you for your time today, and let me review any Q&A questions we might have.
All right, thanks, Julia. And let me just remind everyone in the audience that you can enter your questions on the right. You can type them in under the Q&A block, and I'm sure Julia would be happy to take those. If you have experience with managing multiple channels within AX, or perhaps have been struggling with different channels that are in disparate locations, we'd certainly love to hear about any of those areas. I'm not seeing any questions so far. Julia, I don't know if anything's coming in for you yet, but I could maybe start things off with one question I have, or really more of a challenge that comes to mind here. And one thing I wonder about is, if folks are managing their customer service or their commerce through multiple channels, and they have either disparate teams or disparate systems for different channels. Is that a situation you encounter often?
Sure, and that's fine too. So there'll just be some configuration, being able to use channels or even brands to map to those different teams. So a lot of times with retailers, they'll have multiple brands that they manage. And so that's one nice thing about having that brand capability is you can map these different teams to these different brands, and you'd like to track your revenue by brand. And sometimes items map directly to a brand, and other times they don't. So it could be, truly just like in use of your words, a team that manages a certain brand, or it could be, very specific to an item.
Right. Not seeing anything else in the queue, so we can make a last call for questions here and perhaps start wrapping up. So today's session has been recorded. We'll be making that available on our site and through our YouTube channel. Julia, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it.
All right, and please be on the lookout for a survey that we're running after the session. We really appreciate the feedback our speakers do as well. With that, I will end the session. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thank you.